Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Masterminds Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Topher Sheeler. I'm joined by my co-host, the one and only Jared Bayless.
What's up, guys?
We are doing something a little different here. This is going to be a new segment within the American Masterminds Podcast. We have recently joined one of the most incredible groups that I have ever been a part of, Blue Collar Connect. And so one of the things that we want to do is highlight some of the above and beyond individuals in this group. I am so excited to have this couple on. You guys are in for one heck of a treat. Jared, why are you excited to have John and Andrea on?
They just have such a great outlook on life, relationships, and how to run their business. And I'm just excited to hear more about what they have to say.
This is truly a very, very special episode. It's going to be our first one in a long series here. But today we've got John and Andrea Spears of Signature Carpet Cleaning. Buckle up. We've got one heck of a show. We'll get a quick word from the sponsor and jump right in. This episode is brought to you by Signature Carpet Care. If you're letting someone into your home, trust matters. With over 40 years of experience, Signature Carpet Care does things the right way. Honest pricing, real craftsmanship, and a simple promise. If it's not done right, they'll give you your money back. Signature Carpet Care. Integrity you can feel under your feet. We got to back up further than that. How did you two meet? And give me the kind of the timeline on that.
So we met in October of 2003. My friend was moving. We needed some help loading boxes, and the neighbors that said they would help got drunk and couldn't help. So I'm the only one there helping her. So we called some friends and said, can you call some men and have them come? Because we need some muscles. And one of our friends had called John, and he came and helped. And we hit it off. And
you can't just go over it that fast.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I had a full day worth of carpet cleaning to do. I had a full schedule that day. And Lee called and said, hey, remember Rebecca? I said, yeah. She said, do you remember Andrea? I said, I don't know Andrea. But Andrea's helping Rebecca, and they got some drunk Mexicans in their way, and they're having problems. That was exactly what she said.
I'm on my way.
That's what she said. No, I said, I'm cleaning. I could come tomorrow. And she said, they got to be out by midnight tonight. So I thought, okay, I finished the job I was at. I called my next job and said, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I'm on my way. Oh, I forgot I got a dentist appointment. Can you come tomorrow? That was really weird. Okay. So I called my next job. Hey, Mrs. Smith, it's John, the carpet cleaner. I was wondering my job before you had a dentist appointment. And she goes, that makes me remember I got a doctor's appointment. Can you come tomorrow? And I thought that was really weird. So I called Lee back and said, I'll be over.
No way.
And that's how we met.
his
The
job's
divine intervention. That's awesome.
That is so cool. Yeah. And then you went and moved and
we
then
moved
couldn't
stuff
get rid of it, huh?
Well, we hit it off. We were talking, and we had talked the length of the day, and I was like, okay, I really want to know this guy. And I'm thinking he's going to ask for my number.
And John didn't.
And there's the miss.
He hands me his business card, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this cheesy shit? I was like, what is wrong?
I was serious. If you're interested, you'll call me.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is weird. But of course, that was a Friday. I called him Sunday morning, woke him up, asked him what he was doing. And he's like, I'm sleeping. It's Sunday. And I'm like, well, Sunday for me is not my day off. It was more of an active day. And so he called me Monday morning and asked me out on a date. We went the following, that night. We went that night. We went Monday night. Yeah. Yep. And we met at the Home Depot on 21st South, because I was coming from Sandy and he was coming from Kaysville. And he drove to Bountiful. We were at the restaurant. We went to China Star, and we were talking so much we didn't know that the restaurant had closed. And
we were there for hours. Time just vanished.
It just vanished. And the server was really upset, and I could see he was angry, but I couldn't figure out why. Finally, he tells us, we're closed. You got to leave. And I'm like, well, he could have told us, we would have left. So we left. We went back to the Home Depot parking lot. We talked till 2:30 in the morning, left. And I won't say anymore.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
It's all
history.
Say, well, that's it. But the funny thing is that John gave me his business card because he was tired of women playing games. He figured if they were really interested, they'll call me. Well, I'm not a game player. So for me, it was weird. I'm like, what the hell is this? But I understand from his perspective, the games. So I'm like,
I learned that in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I watched all my buddies. Oh, she gave me her number. And then, I'm busy. Oh, call me Sunday. Call me Monday. I'm like, a minute. Here's my phone number. Oh, I'm busy Friday. I'm busy Saturday. I'm busy Monday. it was like I had the power. And then I actually had women that were interested in my time instead of all the games. It just totally flipped the script and became very authentic interactions that I had with. It was very different.
Wow.
And it worked.
Yeah. It was October 17th that we went out on a date. And it was very quick after that. I just had an experience and I knew he was the one I was looking for because I was looking. I knew there was someone and I was looking. And it was like, no, not him, not him. And all of a sudden I had this experience and it was like, oh my gosh, it's him. But I can't tell him. He's going to think I'm nuts. So I kept it to myself.
But I already had that same experience.
But he was having the same.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The night we went to dinner, I wrote about her in my journal.
Uh-huh.
You mind
And
sharing?
2 days later, she met my mom, and my mom said, "Oh, is that your new girl?" And I said, "I guess we'll see." And she said, "I guess we have."
Oh, so mom knew it too.
Mom knew
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
And I think it was about 2 weeks into knowing each other. I can't remember how the conversation went, but we both knew. And I'm like, are you going to pick a date or what? And he picked it. Yeah.
So cool.
I called her the next day and said, "New Year's Eve."
New Year's Eve.
We would have got married faster, but my family was freaking out about wanting to be at the wedding.
Yeah, me too. I would have rather
Like
eloped.
we would have got married in 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
it just, I knew I was home.
Yeah.
I knew I was home.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now 20, what does that make it?
22.
22 years?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
When you know, right?
Yep. It was just like that. It was like, you just know. Boom, you move. When it's there, when it's the moment for anything, you take action, you just go.
That
Yeah.
seems to be kind of a theme for you guys, I would imagine.
That's how I operate. It's like, I know, move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, when you heard Joe talk about the price of divorce, right? I've been there. We've both been
Both
there.
have. Yeah.
And when you talk about the difference between making a commitment to somebody that's and sticking to it, we don't fight at all.
No.
Like,
Not once.
No.
Why would
we
you fight?
Communicate.
Oh.
We're teammates.
Yeah.
We're partners.
Well, you're kind of teammates on all fronts, right?
Yeah.
You help with the business as well?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. I do all the back end stuff and the marketing, social media. Like right now, I'm doing the Do Work University stuff. I'm like, I finished all the core stuff. I'm in the 52-week thing. I'm almost done with that just since yesterday. I'm like, no. You just,
Get it all done.
yeah. And he does the booking and the cleaning. He doesn't have time for the other stuff, but who's going to do that?
Right. And it really does. It takes a full-time person to be on top of that.
It does. And why would I go get another job when I can maximize our income by being the back end for him?
Right.
Like it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
I heard somebody say something wise years ago about getting married. Remember when you get married that it's not, when there's a problem, it's not you against her. It's you guys against the problem. And societally, that's not what we're taught. We go to war way too often.
Mm.
And we just don't. We talk to each other.
Yeah.
She's my friend.
Well,
I know it's a novel idea to marry somebody you like. But
Yeah.
well, we are in Utah, and you know
Yeah.
what? We've got the stats to say that that's not what everybody does.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so you attribute most of your success to being able to talk to one another.
Well, the reason why we're able to talk is because we have learned from our experiences. You know, it's not just talking. Communication is very challenging across the board in any interaction, married or not, business, personal, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You're always speaking a foreign language. You got to listen very carefully and understand that they're speaking differently and ask questions so that you understand what they're actually saying. And if you're trying to say something, maybe, hey, did that make sense to you? Did you hear what I said? You know, learning how to communicate. And it's always going to be a challenge, communication. So you have to really pay attention, be aware, and always be an active listener. But if you are unwilling to learn from your experiences, communication's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So we have learned from our experiences in life, and we take those lessons and we move forward, and we're always working on ourselves individually and together. And that's what makes a difference.
And we don't
Yes.
talk, we communicate.
Yeah.
And I say it very specifically like that for a reason. Let's say I've got a point to convey to you. Is it your job to understand me or my job to be understandable?
Yes.
Yes.
Because if I'm speaking Japanese to you, no matter how loud I get in Japanese and you speak English or German or whatever, I could get as loud as I want. And that's what happens when we're talking. We usually just get louder. But when I'm seeking for comprehension from you, which means the onus is on me delivering the message to make sure that you, the receiver, actually get what I'm talking to you about. We're not just making words that he got my idea. Then you can respond with an idea. And that's where we are. We also spend an insane amount of time together to most people.
Yeah.
For most people, our part-time job is us.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to back up because what you just said right there, John, is I use a little bit different words, okay? It's not about the words that you want to say. It's about the message you want to be received.
The meaning
of it. So what matters more? If you're going to sit down and have an argument, right? I'll give you, I'm going to throw Emily under the bus for half a second. And it's my own family, okay? We had some very tumultuous times when we first were dating and whatnot. And my family's a tough nut to crack, okay? And she was right. Emily was right on what she was saying. But if you said it the way that you want to say this, I promise you it's not going to go well. And I kept going, and it took almost a year to go, quit worrying about the words that you want to say. They're not going to receive it, okay? Get the message that you want to convey. Worry about that. And it's two completely different. When you write that with that in mind, that text now reads a whole lot different.
Totally. I'll give you an example.
I love that.
The other day, John said a few things in the short period of time, and I understood something completely different and his come from. And so I said to him, hey, can you pay attention in the future to see if you're saying these things, to be aware so that you don't do it. This is how I feel when you're saying those things. And we just kind of had some space for, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that, where we were just reflecting on our own. And then John came back to me and said, this was my intention. This was what I was thinking. And this was what I was trying to communicate. And I was like, oh my gosh. That means I made everything else up in my head, and none of that was true. I'm so sorry. That was completely my misunderstanding, my fault. Please just let it go. Because I really just was trying to move past something that I thought was an issue. No, there was no issue. I made it all up in my head.
And then when we're done, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. It was like, I'm so sorry.
The keys to the kingdom is put that shit down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we got it solved. I actually think one of the keys to a magical relationship is the speed with which you recover from any kind of friction. Mm-hmm. Because that's the real secret, right? Is to stay in the flow together. Right. That's the reason you're a team, a partnership. And as soon as you get that, it's like, okay, we solved that communication breakdown. Why would we hang on to anything else than just move forward in life?
Yeah. Be a goldfish. That's the new Ted Lasso way of saying that, right? Uh-huh. We had the same thing in baseball. If you strike out in your first at bat and you carry it to the second at bat, right? You're going to strike out again, and you're going to do it again, and you're going to do it again. The name of the game. So to your point, whether it's relationships, business, anything, how fast you can forget and turn the page really is one of the big golden secrets to navigating life.
Totally.
Yeah. And that premise correlates with everything in life. That's how I look at a lot of things. So I love that. Be a goldfish.
Yeah.
Move on.
Which I love that line from the Robinsons. Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine then so bringing Andrea on into the business was probably like two completely different businesses then.
Well, we haven't had a business till she started working in it. I had a really good job with a lot of freedom.
Ooh.
And now because she's able to pay attention to things that I either don't have the bandwidth for or don't have the inclination to do, her mind works very linearly, and my ADHD brain is not linear. And so we actually have come together and made our unique differences very powerful together. We make a good team because she picks up the slack where I'm not good, and we work really good together from that regard.
And in addition to that, because our brains work so differently, I mean, he's neurodivergent, I'm not, he's male, I'm female. I've actually asked him lots of questions to understand how his mind operates. So that, like the example I just gave of my misunderstanding, I've learned a lot about how his brain works. And so when I had that example happen the other day, it was another layer of, oh, wait a minute. So when he says or does something like this in the future, his brain is doing this. It's not about me. And so I've done a lot of trying to understand the differences in the way we think so that when we do say or do something, there's actually an understanding there. There's no, I'm a victim and there's a reason for me to be offended. So it's like, and I'm not like that anyway. So on top of that, understanding him, if he says or does something, I'm like, oh, his brain's doing this. Oh, I see where he's coming from because I'm familiar with it and I got to know his brain. So that's helped us in business too, because when he says and does something, I'm like, oh, wait, okay, I know what he's thinking. This is where we're going.
That is really, really powerful stuff because what you're describing is business relationships as well. If you were to take out husband and wife here, right? The proper, what's that book? Rocket Fuel.
Yeah.
Rocket Fuel. Who's the V and who's the I? That makes you the visionary, right? And somebody needs to be the I. And every great CEO, everything, throughout history, there's two. There's always two. Now, you don't necessarily know who the implementer is behind the scenes.
Oh, I definitely do.
You know it.
You know it.
So does she. She knows that I'm the visionary. I'm actually the one that will hamstring things over trying to do it right. And she's the fire ready aim.
Right.
If it didn't go where you want it, do something different, and I will always, I'm just a little safer at certain things. And I see that as a real hindrance. What's got me really good at the financial cap that we're at now is hamstringing me beyond belief right now. And her ability to see past that, past the light at the end of the tunnel and realize that it's not a train, but there is light down there and there's something we can do. And there's a big expanded world at the end of that tunnel is so different. Because it's been real easy for me to just stay in my lane it's you don't have to super perform if you're just a carpet cleaner, right? But as soon as you start owning a business and making money, people expect more things of you. And I've kind of masqueraded as a little bit. I don't know. It's easy to just, when nobody has any expectations of you, it's always great to be easy to be fantastic.
Comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And comfort is just a coffin, right? With the ends not put in. So
yep.
I know better than that.
So I think what you're describing really is like you said it best. You were a guy with a truck that could clean carpets, and now you're a business owner.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
And making big moves. That's how we met.
Right.
Like, I would have never had the confidence to join Blue Collar Connect without her by my side.
So How long have you been involved with the business then?
I don't remember exactly. I'd have to really think how long it's been.
In spurts for 15 years.
Yeah.
But really, as we've decided to grow the business, about 18 months.
No, because I started that, the women's business networking group in 2019.
Oh, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
And actively, but now not just how do we keep John busy?
Mm-hmm.
Now her constant reminding to me of where we're going and giving me just literally giving me the confidence. You could give me all the digital marketing tools in the world.
What do you do?
It's not going to do any good for me. I'm too busy answering the phone and cleaning carpets and trying to think about how to train somebody. But she can take all that off, and she actually is good at it and enjoys it more, and I'm better at the intrinsic workings of how to fulfill and get that trained. So that's what I'm excited about and I'm excited to have, and we've actually talked about this a lot lately going into this year with some of our business goals. I'm glad that it's us taking it to a new level as partners, because it takes our marriage, our love life, our friendship to the next level. It's a deeper level of commitment, of connection, and co-creation together for what we want from our life.
That is really, really beautiful, guys. And I got to tell you, that's actually not what the statistics would say. What you're doing is truly very, very special.
Unique, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me ask you this. Before she came on then, so you're a guy in a truck, was there a breaking point to where you actually, because I would imagine you had to get to a point where you needed to ask for help?
I think when we upgraded from our old house to this house, I knew I was in over my head.
That was 18 years ago.
And so she took the reins with a few things, taking the kids out. She made some flyers for us. We joined, and this goes back to the comfort zone that Jared just mentioned. We joined Piranha Marketing. Joe Polish, an old carpet cleaner that became a marketing guru. And we had the best year I've ever had in my life, and it scared me. I mean, I'll just be honest. I didn't know how to hire. I was in over my head. I had, Joe taught us about hiring elite, right? I was hiring bodies.
Right.
I was hiring warm people that would show up allegedly and do what I asked them to do allegedly, you know? And so I had some real traction, and I knew I wasn't ready to be, truthfully, just the leader that they needed. And so it was easy for me to get frustrated. And she's like, we're growing. And I'm like, I just want to be a carpet cleaner. It's easier. It's simpler. I can make, I need to make $150,000 a year. I can do that. I can cover this nut. I just want to play it safe. And now you talk about when's that moment that turns your life around, like Jim Rohn talks about. Mm-hmm. The last year-ish of really realizing, okay, listen, boy, you're 60 soon, and there's a lot of things I want to do in my life that I want to spend my life force on, rather than just making enough money. Because it's easy to get in that trap. Like I made pretty good money, and hey, I already have the 10 grand we need this month. Yeehaw. Yeah. I got 2 weeks off. And now I want to have the freedom to be alive, not just work to stay alive. Mm. And that's, you had mentioned to turn this. I love where we are, all of us with Blue Collar, because of Joe's path that he's laid out for us. And now having her see it and me see it together, so that we're equally yoked on the same page with where we're going and what we're doing in our business, I'm really excited. The real minute for me was, what if I can't clean carpet? What if I can't?
Right.
If I get killed, she's got plenty of money and a rental house, and the house is paid for. But if I get hurt real bad, what do I do? And all this kind of happened and coalesced right around when we met Mark and became part of the Blue Collar family. It's like, and meeting you guys is just like the icing on the cake. I don't know. I love meeting other especially young men that want to be a part of the solution to what's going on in the world today. Mm. And I believe it's one of the things we're passionate about, is teaching people how to communicate better. Yeah. Because what did Paul Newman say in Cool Hand Luke? What we have here, boy, is a failure to communicate. And that is the problem almost always. Everything we want is on the other side of a conversation with another human being that we either are afraid to have or don't know we need to have, but it's all right there waiting for us. Mm. Wow. But when we don't have those think about how many times you've watched a movie and you're going, dude, just freaking tell her what happened. Just tell her or her. Just say it to him, and it'll all and they never say it till the very last frame of the movie. Say those things. Start learning how to make sure your message gets received, not just spurted out into the universe. Mm. And if we can do that, one child at a time, one marriage at a time, one business relationship at a time, we can really change the way the world communicates or talks at each other. So we could actually have messages landing and people understanding and comprehension happening.
Love that.
That is powerful, powerful stuff, John. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious. I feel like we're missing an event. Have you always been like this and thinking this way?
I'm kind of cut from a different cloth. By the time I was 8, something inside of me knew that I was more emotionally intelligent than almost all human beings I would ever meet.
8 years old?
I watched grown-ups posturing that said they loved each other, and all they were doing was attacking one another. Mm. Something would come up, and that's where when I heard that recently, like, remember, it's you and me against this problem, not me and you against each other and then the problem.
Right.
And it's like, I say it today, like, I want to step on any toes, but if living the truth was the answer to a happy life, how come in all religions across the board, divorce is 50%, just like it is when you're not religious? Like, it's not a faith problem. It's a communication problem. It's a setup problem. It's a not being heard. It's a not feeling safe. It's not even understanding when Topher says something that triggers John, it's not about Topher, it's about John. When I say something to her, she gets triggered. She works on her trigger. When I get triggered, I work on my trigger. We don't take it out on each other. And if we could teach more by example, that's how we do it.
And that's the key, because we're not emotionally trained from a young age to know how to do that.
Never.
And we can be.
Right.
It's just not happening.
Right.
Well, and it's one of those things, like, it's really hard to tell somebody about that. You have to show it to them, right? Which, back to your point, and I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but if we need men specifically, if we were talking to each other, we could pass these lessons on to one another.
Oh, man.
And that's the part that's really not happening. Girls are so further ahead of us on at least trying to communicate with one another. Men, we don't.
Right.
We don't at all.
Well, and then you're supposed to lead the family, and you're not able to communicate with the family efficiently, you know?
Well, the one thing we're good at communicating is anger.
Yes.
Right? Because that's a vent for us that we're taught that when we just watch our dad do it and he watched his dad do it.
That's an emotion that we're allowed to feel when we're young.
See, I love that you used the word emotion, right?
Right.
This is what we were talking about earlier. What do you feel before the emotion of anger comes out? You feel hurt.
Right.
And then you get angry.
And then the anger comes
So that's
out.
what I was talking about, the separation. Feelings are not emotions. Emotions are not feelings. Because you feel hurt, then you get angry and you lash out.
Well, if I were to let myself go, every emotion I have, ipso facto turns to anger.
Well,
right?
that's because you're a dude.
Yeah.
And that's how we're taught to respond. It's the one safe. If we cry, we get crucified as young men. If we say, oh, that hurt my feelings. And I still remember saying that as a young man. I went home and said, Mom, these guys are making fun of me for my feelings. And my mom said, go more into that. Now I'm an empath. I'm a literal empath. If I see you hurt yourself, I feel you feel pain. I feel it with you. I don't empathize with you. I feel it with you. And so I remember telling my mom, hey, Mom, you cut yourself with a knife and it hurt me for a minute. And she said, what do you mean it hurt you for a minute? I said, well, it was like I cut myself. And she literally said, oh, I'm so sorry that you have that gift.
Wow.
So I've always had this gift of feeling things and then watching people around me feel one way and do another thing. So it's like, how come the whole world lies everywhere about everything?
Instead of just communicating.
Instead of just say how you feel. Just tell the effing truth about and like, guys are the worst. How you doing, bro? Fine.
Yeah.
So you're freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, but you won't talk about it. That's why we eat the bullet more than any other. Men are 79% of suicides, unless my statistics are wrong.
If you're wrong, it's because you're undershooting it.
And it's not that women don't have burdens, but like you said, they talk about them to each other.
Well, it's culturally normative for girls to get together and have a girls' night or something like that. It used to be for men. Go tell me where the Elks Club and the Moose Lounge are today. We don't have those same. This is actually just introduced to me. It's called the third space. The third space. So men, generally speaking, you have your work mask on, and then you have more times than not, your dad mask. Okay. And your dad mask is one of the thickest ones that you can possibly put on. You're got to be Superman in that.
That's the hardest place because we know we're not Superman. But
you have to act like it 95% of the time. The third space was a place where men could take the masks off, and we're missing that. And what does that lead? That leads to isolation. Men right now, with all the communication devices that we have everywhere, we are lonelier than ever because we are designed, and we inherently know this. Little boys in classrooms don't do well. right? We need to be outside and we need to be wrestling with each other and playing. That's how we learn. We were designed to learn with grandfather, shoulder to shoulder with their dad, shoulder to shoulder with us.
Yep.
And there's so many lessons, stuff you're working out in the field, right? And you have a marriage problem. Well, I've got 3 generations of advice that I'm going to get right here while we're working. Tell me where that happens today.
It's not.
And it's the sad part. That's the part I believe that we're really, truly missing on everything.
I think I just had an amazing opinion. One of the reasons that we work so good is we have that third space at our home where we don't have to wear our mask.
It's beautiful.
And because of that, I'm able to walk through the world without one on.
Powerful.
Because I don't have to hide at home.
That is truly, truly special.
And we need to spread that. We need to spread that around so everybody feels comfortable, because what everybody actually wants is just to be loved and accepted. We don't, the masks and the anger and all of that is truly a mask. What you actually want is just to be heard and felt. At the end of the day, everybody's men and women the same. All you want is to be heard and felt.
Go ahead.
John, excuse me, John actually communicates to me the struggles that men face. And men do need men. And there's also an element that's missing, that women don't know what you guys experience. And when we talk to people about it, they're totally shocked. What? That's real? Yes. Mm-hmm. They're really surprised because they're completely unaware that the other half of the population is struggling in such a massive way. And of course, men can't talk to the women about it, because that's one of the messages, is that then you're weak. You can't come across weak, or she won't, she'll think that you can't keep her safe or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is that none of us women are actually giving men those messages, but that's still your paradigm. That's still what you were taught from childhood, so impressioned upon your minds. I feel that if women actually understood and knew what you guys actually were going through and realized that, they can actually help their men say, hey, I'm your safe place. You can actually talk to me. Women need to let the men know that they're safe with them as well, and vice versa. The men need to let the women know that they're safe with them. And when the safety is there, and they know that, having that understanding of the difference of their upbringing, coming together and being able to have at least one person that's safe in the world that you can rely on. Hopefully it's your partner. Men do need men, but if you have a significant other, you got to be able to go there too. And I'm glad that John has actually talked to me about this, because it floored me. I saw it once he pointed it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see it. But I didn't know that before. And honestly, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that you guys have been through so much. And it bothers me and hurts to see women who don't understand. Just reach out to your partner and just say, hey, or your brother or your father, and just say, hey, I'm safe. You can talk to me. There's no judgment. You have a place that you can actually go to communicate and to lean on. And I feel that if more of that was to happen, then I think you'd see a great decline in men feeling isolated and feeling like they would have to kill themselves because they don't have somebody that they can speak to or they can rely on or be safe with. I feel like it's just it's not a one-sided issue. I feel like there needs to be clarity and understanding with both genders and a coming together with compassion and safety so that everybody can get what they need and what they want, which is to be heard, to be loved, to be understood, to be safe.
Wow, that was well said.
It's one of those things, you guys are putting it so beautifully. This is a systemic problem, right? What we have right now, it should be the knowledge base. Well, let me back up a little further. Masculinity has been, for lack of a better word, bastardized so bad in the last 25, 30 years that we don't actually recognize what that actually means. It's now gotten convoluted to toxic masculinity, which is the gym bro, that guy. That's not what it is at all. No. The tenets to masculinity are, number one is protect. then provide and preside, the 3 Ps. Okay. But even more importantly than that, we have it should be a knowledge base of 50% men, 50% women, right? We don't have that because of circling back to divorce rates and whatnot. Of the 50% that should be masculine are being brought up by 50% women. And they don't know. And that is not a dig. How could you know something that you're not?
Exactly.
And the big thing that we need to come together with is that it's both of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the divine union.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a man and a woman to create the yin and yang, which you guys have outlined so beautifully in every aspect of your relationship. That's what it actually takes. We don't have it all. We don't have hardly any of it. We're really good at picking heavy stuff up. We can do that one. But it actually takes both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Andrea, if we were to talk about that and we were to actually be realistic of what that is, we would come together a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. And it starts with men like you guys speaking about it, talking with other men, bringing them together in safety and community to talk, and expanding into women coming on board. The whole planet needs to, but it starts with you guys starting that ball rolling, teaching people, asking questions, talking about it, bringing awareness so that people can have a total reality shift. Like, wait, what? This is what's going on in our world? Yeah, that's what's really going on in our world. And you can change it by seeing it, changing your words, changing your actions to align with what you are now seeing. That is the reality.
Well, I remember you told me one time, Andrea told me one time, hey, I know that you're really happy, but everything can't always be perfect. Why don't you share your feelings with me? Why don't you share how you feel about things? I was like, wait a minute. Because I shut it off early as a child.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to get me gobbled up. I'm going to get beat up and ridiculed forever. So I just put it inside of me. But that was my comfort. Tell me how you feel about this, bro. And when I was like, and she's not BSing, it made me realize for the first time that my value was not inherently what I could go do for her or what I could provide, but it was who I was that mattered. Mm. And she was just as concerned about my and you know, a lot of guys, you say this in the wrong forum and you're going to get teased, but she cared about my emotional well-being as much as my physical well-being. And that was such a mind-blowing concept to me, to realize that it wasn't just up to me to provide a safe space for her, but for her to hold that same container of safety for me, to be not perfect all the time. Like Jared mentioned, I think one of the most crippling masks that a guy gets to put on is when your first child is born and you go, oh, you will die if I don't care for you. I have to be Superman now. I know I'm not Superman. And then every child in the world thinks his dad is Superman. And we know better. And it's like, but you don't have to, you just have to be super to that child.
Right? Yeah.
And the best way to be super is to stay here on this rock with us, which means start talking about it, guys.
Yeah.
Start talking about it.
This is really cool because you guys have, from everything that we've gathered here, this is also how you run your business.
Yes.
This is the secret sauce that is the Spears, right? Yes. So I want to go back a little bit. Bring me into how you got into carpet cleaning. And then I want to go down this road, because I'm sure this isn't how you started the business.
No.
In any way. So I want to, and then how we get to where we're at right now. So let's back up. You've been in carpet cleaning since when?
I started when I was 14.
14.
So 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
One of my church leaders taught me how to clean. I cleaned off and on with him on weekends and did a little bit of cleaning here and there for a couple years. I think he was my advisor. And then fast forward a few years, life had happened. I'd already been through a marriage and a divorce, and I landed back in Utah. And one of my first friends, I was over at his house. We were hanging out, getting ready to go golfing, and his mom was holding a carpet cleaning receipt, and tears were rolling down her face. This was 20, almost 40 years ago, right?
Wow.
And it was for $385 to clean a little shack in Rose Park, a little 3-bedroom house. And I literally said, well, they ripped you off. She said, well, what guy? I don't know what to do. I called him up and said, dude, you ripped this lady off. I know how to clean carpets, and I know you totally hosed her. And he said, I don't know anything about how to clean carpets. I came up here to run this carpet cleaning store. I got a bunch of drug addicts and junkies down here ripping people off. If you're so smart, come down here and clean carpets for me. So I drove down to the shop in my little Volkswagen Rabbit, loaded a Century 400 portable cleaning machine in, and started cleaning carpets.
Just
and
like
I
that.
I subcontracted for years. Life happened. I started a business, got divorced. Life happened again, shut the business down. Started the business back up in 2003. And so other than just a year and a half after 18, and then another few years trying to figure out where I'm doing in life, I've cleaned carpets consistently.
That makes you more of an expert than I think anybody could say. 40 plus years of experience?
A long time. Yeah, a long time.
Wow.
And you know what's crazy, bro, is the one thing I've learned most of being in somebody's home, it's not you at home. It's the wife at home.
Mm.
And I learned years ago that when we talked about this, just as we were talking about relationships, the most important spirit that I could bring to the home with me is the spirit of safety.
Mm.
Because your girl is home without you. And often your most precious possessions are there. I'm not talking about your guns and your gold. I'm talking about your babies.
Yeah.
And your pets. If they're not safe, unequivocally, I should never be in your house. And that's what's got me where we are. That's why she decided to take the reins and help me tell that message more so we can grow this year and change the culture. I literally changed the culture of what service providers do, at least in our carpet cleaning arena. I get tired all the time of the bait and switchers.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to pay $130 and I paid $800.
That's such a consistent theme in the blue collar world. You know, unfortunately, I was talking to Karenina, okay, and Mirinda, and one of their things is, do you know how many contractors out here have screwed people over? It's not all of them, but you have to understand there are so many horror stories out there that they really do pick the person. Mm-hmm. It has very, very little to do who does better work anymore.
Yep.
And it's strictly because of how many times somebody has screwed somebody over. And to your point, that is absolutely, you're coming in with my child and you're going to go into my bedroom and you're going to go into that's my castle, man. And you're right. 95% of the time, dad's not going to be there when you're coming to do it.
When there's simple things that people don't realize. Like, I don't even look at people's pictures hard. Like, unless you are home and your wife and I, or there's some kind of a conversation that comes up, I never go say, oh, hey, you got a beautiful family. You got some nice rugs. I'm there to get the spots out, be congenial, nice and friendly, and then get out of their house. Like safety is such a fickle thing unless it's not, right? Unless it's just like Joe taught us. Is it going to help or hurt in this situation? Like, don't tell somebody their family's beautiful unless she's brought it up. Hey, I got 5. How many kids do you have? Well, I have 4. How many kids do you have, ma'am? By the way, I noticed you got a handsome family. That's different. And so they're just layers of things I've learned. And it's probably natural for me. I took home ec in high school. My buddies were taking shop. I've always liked girls.
How about that?
I get along with women. I always have. And learning how to take that and make it a safe experience when I'm in their house. The one thing we do on our business that's probably the simplest fine print anybody will ever see. It's about that big on the bottom of every invoice I ever hand to somebody, says money back guarantee. Mm. So
we don't just say it.
I tell the truth. I do what I say I'm going to do. I make sure your family's safe. And if for any reason none of those things happen or they don't feel like they are, I'll just give their money back.
I would imagine, though, that is not a common practice for you.
2 times in 20 years.
Twice in 20
years.
And
both times, Topher, guess whose fault it was? This guy.
Really?
I didn't listen.
No kidding.
And if you don't listen to what a woman's telling you she wants from you, and you profess that you can give her what she wants, but you have no idea what she's communicated to you, how do you expect that to be a useful scenario or a win for her? And both times, I went back and redid the carpets, and they said, "Oh, you don't have to give the money back." And I said, I remember one for sure because her name was Sunshine. Her born name was Sunshine.
No way.
And I said, "Listen, Sunshine, if I had paid attention to what was going on in your life and realized your dad had just passed away, you're overwhelmed by the family dumping on you, and you really don't know what to do about this basement, that you had the resources to replace the carpet, I would have just immediately said, we shouldn't even try and get that cat stuff out of there." So again, is it my fault or hers? It was my fault. And listen, she told me 3 or 4 times, "I'm trying to settle my dad's estate. If you don't think this will come out, we'll replace the carpet." And then it was a good lesson. You can't be too hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't need the money more. And I don't know that I needed the money more or not, but sometimes it's easy to drive out to a job. And again, it was a long time ago. I don't know, but was I too interested in closing the deal, or was I taking care of my customer? And that's why I put that in my business more than anything, to hold me accountable, not my clients. And for years, I've had people say, "What about Slick Willie's going to try and get free carpet cleaning?" Well, then he'll get it once. And if he needs carpet cleaning that bad, he should have it.
Jeez,
Who am I to say if you need carpet cleaning bad enough, you're going to scam somebody out of it? You don't get it.
Huh. I think that's got to be one of your secret sauces, John. I think you're a pretty quick learn. I think lessons happen and you recognize them really fast and you move on.
Well, I learned once that pain happens and suffering is only if you're stupid, and stupid is not learning the same lesson over and over and over again.
There you go. There's the wisdom of the show right there.
You could stay in suffering or just hurt once and get over it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then forget about when it happens. How fast can you forget about it?
And get it done again.
Yeah. That is really cool. You don't hear that very often. You just don't hear somebody's values leading the charge like that very often. I think that's commendable. And I commend you both for putting that foot forward in your business and your personal life. That's really special. Thank you for sharing all of that.
I actually really love it too. I know it sounds crazy. I'll be 60 this year, but I remember the first time I ran my grandma's vacuum and fell in love with those lines. Bro, I'm a man of faith. A lot of people, I'm not like some people, but I believe, and Jesus told us to be like children, right? He didn't say be childlike, but be like a child. And that little 8-year-old boy still gets turned on every day by, I did carpets today that looked amazing. And about halfway through, I go, "Dang, Skippy, you're such a good boy." Nobody has to say a word to me because it's just all day long I get to see this result that I'm creating. And so, and that's the culture of our company. We love what we do. We're safe in your home, and we'll keep our word. If you feel like we don't, we'll just give your money back. If we don't perform at the level that you feel like we contracted with you to do, no questions asked.
That is perfect. Well done. Well done. Well, let's talk a little X's and O's. I've had my carpets cleaned.
Yes.
Okay. So I know that there's steam cleaning, and I know that there's some different types. Walk us through what makes you so special.
Well, first of all, it's just tons of experience. They say 10,000 hours makes an expert. Last time I checked, I had about 38,000 hours, 36 to 38,000, depending on a couple of gaps of hours of pushing that wand around. So I've had a lot of practice. Probably the biggest difference, look at manufacturers' specifications, is the biggest manufacturers on the planet mandate that it has to be hot water extracted to keep their warranties valid. It's multifaceted. It resets the twist in the nylon and the yarn. Anything that you leave in the carpet can and will damage it, attracts more dust and dirt. There are certain applications where an encapsulation cleaning or a low moisture method, a dry room, an office with tons of traffic, but even then, occasionally you have to clear them out and flush all that stuff out because you're leaving all that residue behind. Probably the best way to put it is, if you were to take your jacket that you wore out at work and you were to put some soap on it and scrub it off real good and then put it back on the next day, how clean would it stay for very long?
Until you went back outside.
Hot water extraction is the closest way that you can come to taking your carpet, pre-spraying it, scrubbing the spots, just like you do when you do your laundry, put it in the washing machine, rinse it all out, put it back down on the ground. if it's done right. If it's done wrong and it's soaking wet for days or any of the other things. And even on that note, how often do you talk about myths and mistakes, and how often do you clean your clothes?
Every day.
Every time you wear them, right?
Right.
You wash your sheets at least weekly or bi-weekly, however you do it. Towels all the time. Carpets now, never. 70 to 80% of carpet that gets laid is never cleaned one time.
Are you kidding me?
And
Is
it's
that the
biggest
real
filter in
statistic?
your house?
But there's
too.
What?
But here's what happens, right? What's your girl's name?
Emily.
So Emily calls you up and says, "Hey, babe, we're going to have the carpets cleaned. It's going to be $200. Okay, cool. Get them done." You come home, you move all the furniture, you go to work. Emily goes to work. Carpet guy, or Emily's there. Carpet guy comes. Even if you're both there, the carpet guy comes. All of a sudden, it turns into a sales experience. Typically, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife is home. All of a sudden, it's gone from $200 to $500, $600 for all the things you need. God, we moved all the furniture all weekend long. That happens one time, she's never going to want another carpet cleaner in her house. Or plumber or electrician, or while we're talking about BBC or BCC, I love the vetted part of Blue Collar Connect for that reason, because they make sure we're ethical people.
Right.
So we're recommending human beings that care. Same thing with carpets, right? You get in there, she gets in there, it's wet for 3 days. The spots come back. There's so many things that could go wrong. Why would she ever hire a professional again? But if there's a different conversation, "Hey, John, tell me about your carpet cleaning." "Well, I want you to know up front that it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be done right. And this is how we do it right." Like, I remember Bruce Willis in Armageddon said, "How's it make you feel? We're flying 30,000 moving parts built by the lowest bidder." Like, carpet is something, it's one of the top investments you make in your home. One of the highest investments you make in your life, actually. It's thousands, tens of thousands, $20,000, $30,000 sometimes to carpet a house. And then you clean it with the Bissell from True Value.
Right.
With cold water and soap, and it's sticky and crunchy. And like, there's so many factors that play into what you get on the back end of protecting your investments. Many big companies spend way more time teaching sales than carpet cleaning. I go to carpet cleaning classes. I have other carpet cleaners I network with. We trade work. I was at another carpet cleaner's house last night, training them on a piece of equipment. He showed me some other stuff. Like, we're always in this game. He's been cleaning for 25 years, incidentally.
I would imagine it's like any other business where there's always continuing education with it, because by an example, I bet they use different fibers than they used in the 80s, or something like that. It's constantly changing, and to be up, how do you clean this stuff? I would imagine stuff like, the special no stain carpets have to be cleaned a completely different way.
And there's probably tons of manufacturers that recommend a little different, right?
And wools and silks, and how do you do this? How do you get mustard out? How do you get ketchup out? How do you get pomegranate out? How do you get ink out? Can it get out? Like, I got hair dye out 3 weeks ago. I told the lady, "It ain't coming out, but I'll try." And she said, "Well, you know what? It's going to cost me a whole lot more than a few $100 to replace that room of carpet. So would you try?" And I did it once. About 85% of it came back just a little bit. I went back and it's gone. And so I will try anything, even though there's things I don't think will come out.
You might want to touch on chemistry, because there's a lot of misunderstanding about that, and green chemistry and what it really takes to get stuff out.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones is we don't use chemicals to clean your house.
Really?
Hogwash.
No, other people say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Hogwash.
Yeah.
Say this out loud. There's a big company using magic water that swears they don't use any chemicals in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try and wash your laundry 3 times without any soap.
What happens?
Just try it one time. Try using soft water and wash your stinky armpits. Go get some grass stains on something, throw it in your laundry, and see how clean it will come. They're neutralizing with the water, but you still have to use a pre-spray. You still have to emulsify that stuff. Protein stains. Is it a protein stain? Is it a dye? Is it a dye transfer? Is the dye on top of the carpet? Is the dye saturated into the carpet? Is it a biohazard? Is it blood? Is it feces? Is it pee? Is it, because it could be all of those things in a kid's bedroom with no dogs. So there's like,
I got it. Now I got to go home and check some stuff.
yeah, there's this discovery, and people just don't. I mean, we maintain everything. We buy a brand new car. Wouldn't even think of going. People panic at 5,000 miles. I got to change my oil right now. I can't even go to church. I got to change it. My car's going to blow up. But I clean carpets all the time. This is my favorite one. It's only 5 years old. That'll just clean right off. It's only 5. Did you read your warranty? You have to have it cleaned every 12 to 18 months, depending on manufacturer, to keep your stain guard and your wear warranties valid.
Well,
I did not know that.
What about your hard floors? You sweep and mop those all the time,
All the time,
right?
But you ignore the
And
carpet.
you vacuum your carpet.
It's the largest filter in your home, and you're on it, and it's disgusting. What about your kids rolling around on that? Your pets, and it's not being cleaned. So people don't, if they don't see, they don't have a lack of education. That's all it is. They don't understand what's really going on with their carpet and the problem that it is. So that's why I don't think to clean it.
When it is a slow process, right? I get called a lot because somebody dropped something behind the couch and they move the couch and go, what? We got to get the carpets cleaned. Because you get new carpets. Somebody's mom had a bad experience with a carpet cleaner that got crunchy and they got dirty fast, or they got whatever happened, and they say, don't clean your carpets. If you clean them, they'll get dirtier faster. There's 2 things that might make that happen. Number 1, it doesn't actually get dirtier faster unless it's cleaned wrong and there's a residue behind. Number 2, it's called situational awareness. You just did a remodel. You just put new carpet in. You just did the walls. It's the honeymoon phase, right? Everything is beautiful and roses. Unless somebody spills something on the carpet, you don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But a few years go by, and then even if you just haven't heard the old wives' tale, don't clean them because they're going to get dirtier faster. You spill something, you clean it, and then there's this really clean spot. But it hasn't been cleaned for years because nobody taught you to maintain it, or you don't know who to pick because prices are all over the map. So I tell people, I'll say this to Emily, anybody. I say it. She's heard me say it a dozen times, probably in the last month. I would rather talk you out of cleaning for you by telling you the truth and what's really going to happen when I get to your house than have you hire me and think I tricked you. Mm. Period. There will be no trickery of any kind. I'm not coming to somebody's house to sell them. Often I don't even have time to do extra work unless you've called me and said, hey, can you do the couch tomorrow? Ooh, let me make a call. Because I typically don't leave. I'm not coming to your house counting on an upsell. And I've talked to trainers at several other of the big brand name companies, the 3 rooms for X amount. And they spend a couple days training on carpet cleaning. And then they spend a week or more training on selling stuff that people should have already known about. Emily should never tell you it's going to be $200 and get tricked at the door. That's the most important thing in the world to me. And everything I say on the phone happens when I get to the house. Mm. Everything. We do the walkthrough. I do a measurement. I say, okay, Emily, I told you it'd be between 300 and 400. You're actually 389. You want me to do the work? Or I think you only told me 4 bedrooms and there's 5. Did we? Because I keep notes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you about that 1 bedroom downstairs. You're right. That's why it's over. But even then, it's still, we measure it with the laser rangefinder. Everything is agreed upon beforehand. I never come up after the job and go, surprise, it's more money. And that's very common. Very common. Do you want it sanitized? Do you want it Scotch guard? You want this? Yeah, okay. They get done with the job. What, $800? Well, yeah, you ordered this and this and this. It's very unbelievably common.
In our experience on the water side, yes, 100%. And I got to tell you, as a consumer, I'm a new homeowner myself, so I haven't actually had to deal with this. Although now you just put the time frame in my head, and I'm like, okay, next couple of months, it's time. Yeah. Can't believe it's been a year. But no, that would piss me off more than anything. It's one thing in our household, sell me. Give me the options. I want to know that. But if you try to pull the plug out from under me when you're there and I'm not, That's going to infuriate me.
Bro, I've literally had a lady call me up, hire me. I went to her house and she said, before you even say a word, come here. She walks me into her kitchen. She's got white Berber carpet in her kitchen. There's 3 spots. One really, really clean spot, one not so clean spot, and one spot you could hardly tell the difference between the carpet and where he cleaned it. She said, I just need you to know I called the cops on a guy that was here last Friday. He came right. It was the dirtiest spot in her whole house. And he said, $99, $299, $599. Which one do you want me to do?
Oh, what? Are you kidding me?
She said, so are you singing and dancing or are you just going to clean my carpets? And I said, well, I'm a little bit worried. I don't have any idea what he put on that really white spot, but that looks really white. And I was able to make it all match. But that, right from the beginning, I said, I don't know what he used, but I might not be able to get it that clean.
Do you think he dyed it?
Well, he just did. He did what I did, but he did it super duper duper in one spot.
Oh.
I ended up getting the whole house that clean, but I would never have promised that. And he did it right in the middle of her kitchen. So she literally had no choice. And that's what he thought. He thought she's just going to go with the $600 package.
That is such bullshit.
She'd ordered 3 rooms for $99 and he went this, or this.
No way. So, and then on top of it, he kind of muscled her into not a sales pitch. That's forcing your way in.
Oh, yeah.
She said, you leave right now. I'm calling the cops. She called the cops and he boogied.
No, good for her. Good
left
awareness.
right on the spot. Yeah, but see, and it's people like that you've had people go in and sell water, so you've heard horror stories.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The little old lady's got some janky system down in the basement. You're going, who bought this at Home Depot and put it in backwards?
Yes, or even worse, it's only hitting one thing in the house.
Yeah,
like. They just grabbed whatever line.
The far bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, more often it's just the hot side. They're only protecting the hot side. So the hot water, sometimes a plumber will sell a hot water heater and they'll be like, you need to protect this.
And then they're drinking the contaminants.
So then they're just hitting the hot side, right? I've seen this a ton of times. They're hitting the hot side. It's protecting the water heater. Great job. You're doing nothing for the whole entire house. Literally every shower you're taking, you're still getting hard water.
All the poison.
You're still getting all the crap. A water softener doesn't take out the crap anyways. It's just softening. But
that's a whole conversation for another
whole
day.
other.
Sold them a bill of goods and you're only protecting just the hot side, which is doing nothing for the whole house.
Yeah.
That happens often.
What's interesting to me is that all of us in service businesses are there because our service solves a problem for someone. Now, you want to make money, right? You want that person, if it's a carpet cleaning, it's a repetitive thing. So we want our clients for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would you screw over somebody else that you're solving a problem for when they're ready to say, hey, I want to give you this money so you could solve my problem? Why would you do that?
Yep.
Why would you be so dishonest? And why would you treat someone so horrifically? You're stealing from them.
Yep.
And you're hurting them. I don't get that mindset at all, but we're there to provide a service and solve a problem. And they would be happy to hire you over and over again if you just have some freaking ethics and do things right.
Yeah.
You don't got to convince somebody to do something. You don't have to convince them with unethical practices. I mean, that's a waste of time. How much energy are you spending on that?
Yeah.
You could spend your energy just being honest and taking care of somebody and be just as profitable, if not more. And honestly, that's just kind of our come from is like, no, we're in somebody's home to take care of them. So we're going to be safe. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it well. We're going to communicate thoroughly. We're going to make sure they're happy with everything, every step along the way, because that's what we're there to do. So it's that simple.
And that's where it comes into what Joe talked about hiring
the elite. Hire your elite customer.
Because I think a lot of times it is, you hire somebody thinking that they're going to be great and you train them the way you expect something to be done. And then they just don't care when they're in the home. And then there's no quality control at that point. And then.
Well, John, you actually said something when we first met, something along the lines of, I have a business. I lead with integrity. I do what I say I'm going to do. Why is that not enough? and it's crap. And I really hope that we can get to a point, and I hope this Blue Collar Connect leads us, as a collective unit down this path.
I agree.
And because it should be. And I think hopefully right now, there's a lot of pendulums swinging back the other direction. I feel like there's a resurgence coming. And
I think you're right.
I think people do care about who's actually behind the person coming in my home. And these high pressure salespeople that have ruined so much, or the contractors that are just in it to make a quick buck, take everybody's stuff and tools and off they go. I think that is coming to an end. And I hope that we can lead that charge.
I love that. I actually am really excited to be a part of this family of ours with Blue Collar Connect, because I see even just Joe talking about how gamified Google has become, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just know I'm in the industry, so I'll pick on my industry. There's a particular company that I know pretty good, and they've been in business about 7 years. Well, they have 800 5-star reviews online. I know, first of all, if you've done that volume of work, you've pissed somebody off somewhere. Yeah. Like I have a lady that I gave money back to. She just didn't, and it was my fault. I didn't listen to her. I own it, but she gave me a 1-star review. And even after I gave her money back, she wouldn't change it. And everything is so gamified online, and people are starting to catch on to that. They want that second witness. They want another contractor who they trust to say, you know what, Topher and Jared are going to do good. They're going to take good care of you because I know them. I know them.
Right.
They don't give me a kickback. I know them. I know their wife. I know Emily. I know his kids. I know, there's a difference there. And I think that we're swinging back towards that. Reviews used to be that, but everybody's starting to it's all gamified now anyway.
Yep.
Well, in a bigger, broader stroke, I think we're coming back. We got very digital. The internet age came in. And I think the yearning for actual community, knowing who your neighbors are, knowing who the people you're doing work with, is starting to matter again.
Oh, I like that. I didn't think about that. I think you're right. I love that.
Balance back out.
Yeah. Everything in the world it's a pendulum, even with the masculinity thing. Yeah. And I don't care if you like him or not, somebody had to kick the ball back. So Andrew Tate, I don't care if you agree with him or not. Okay. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah. It's that he opened the conversation back up, and we needed somebody to do that. And I'm hoping in a lot of ways, community being, we're lost in this big vast sea of the internet for really the heart of all of it. And I think that people are tired of being alone. They're tired of being isolated. And I do see a strong community coming back. And I think, well, here's a better example. Blue Collar Connect is 2 years old. It wouldn't be here if the calling wasn't already going.
You're right. 100% correct.
So
I actually feel like the timing is so perfect. John said it earlier about having a job, being kind of trapped in his comfort zone. And it's been interesting the last few years, some things that we've been going through personally. A lot of different things, but in December, we just kind of came out of all these challenges and things that had gone on for years. Not like we had challenges, but just individually
Kids,
that we had to work through.
Business,
just stuff,
growth,
just
personal
stuff.
development growth.
But it's interesting because in December, as we kind of came out of this like fog, it was like, oh my gosh, now's the time for everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everything started coming out of the woodwork because we were ready for it.
Yeah.
It's a time is now. Yep. And it was interesting because Blue Collar Connect is actually one of those things.
Yep.
But it's a very big, significant thing in the few things that have come out of the woodwork that we're ready for. And the great thing with Blue Collar Connect and the timing for us is that we're ready. John's ready. We're both ready to expand, to hire the right people, to grow in this capacity, to run our business and not be trapped in a job. And Blue Collar Connect is magnificent in everything it has to offer. And it's like, we're ready for that. And it came out of the woodwork and we're like, we're here, we're ready. This is the perfect fit. This will fit for our life right here. And let's go here. And then in the other areas of our life, that other things were going on, we're having all these solutions come out of the woodwork for those. We're like, okay, it's like we're starting over in a lot of different areas of our life. So things are very new and fresh. And just like a kid going to kindergarten, it's what it feels like in a lot of areas of our life right now. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is weird because we're so experienced, but yet at the same time, we're starting out fresh all over again in so many aspects. But all of the paths that are going to lead to our success have already come into our life that quick. We're like, because we're ready. So we're really excited for Blue Collar Connect in this aspect of our life with our business because it's a perfect fit. I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
100%.
And it's like, we're here, we're ready to go. And now we have this partner that can help us just soar and expand. So we're very excited for that.
Well, Mark said when the student is ready, the teacher will appear,
Mm-hmm.
but it's deeper than that.
It is.
It's, I said it the other day at our meeting. It's nice to be in a room full of primarily men who aren't afraid to let the love be felt in the room,
Mm-hmm.
to have that brotherhood, that camaraderie, to have a woman stand up in the room and say she's been in a room full of blue collar guys and she's never felt safer. I don't remember exactly how she put it, but that made me proud of that room we're in.
Yeah.
Because there's not very many rooms in my experience where you could put 40 or 50 guys and have the women that were there say, I felt exceptionally safe in that room.
I've been in.
For me, I could get behind a group of guys that can have that kind of energy with us.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I've been in plenty of other rooms where I've had to deal with inappropriate men. And when I was in that room and I could feel the same thing, I was like, it was a little overwhelming at first, made me a little nervous, but I was like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I'm safe here.
Yeah.
I'm safe here. I don't got to worry about what you're going to say or do, or if I have to deal with you, or if I have to say, hey, John, come kick this guy's ass, or hey, Joe, you got to get rid of this guy. I don't want to have to deal with that. And when I was in the room and she said that, I was feeling it too. And I was so grateful because I felt like finally I don't have to, I can just be in the room. I can just be there with everybody else like they are.
And I do think it's cool that he has his wife do the interviews.
Oh man.
Because it's true. The intuition is undeniable, right? A woman's intuition. She can pick out a bad apple. You're not.
She can feel the creepers.
Yeah. The creepers don't know that they're easily felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
They think they're under the radar. It's like, no, it's like a big red flag. We could see it.
Yep. So it is cool to be in a room of like-minded. Everybody's on the same path, I feel like.
Yeah, let's
It's
get
really
some
cool.
success together.
Yes.
That's the whole vibe there.
Yeah.
I love hearing the guys talk about collaborating and loving each other. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and then
yes, I love that. I love hearing that instead of
it's not competition, it's collaboration.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in the same industry, we can still help each other out. You know, there's so many homes just in this valley that none of us can service everybody. It's impossible.
That's what I told Brian, my buddy. I was over at his house last night. I said, bro, we could clean carpets for 100 years and live next door to each other and never step on each other's toes.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so much work to do. And about 20 years ago, I said in a meeting, co-opetition
Ooh.
instead of competitors. There's no such thing as competition. Now, who knows your industry better than other guys in your industry?
Right.
Learn together, grow together. That rising tide floats every boat in the harbor if you let it.
That has truly been our philosophy from day one.
Love that.
We could not actually service anywhere close to
No way.
Salt Lake. It's not possible.
Even just the new construction, we couldn't service. There's just so much just in this valley. So it's like, why would we try to compete? Why would we
help each other
collaborate?
Well, even with carpet cleaning and lots of other industries too, but not every person is your ideal client and you are not their ideal service provider.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another reason why there's no competition. You find your perfect fit as a client and as a service provider.
Yep.
Beautifully said. Guys, this was so much fun.
Heck yeah.
So much fun. Thank you so much for kicking this off. This is the first episode that we're doing of the Blue Collar Connect Spotlights.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
So this has been a ton of fun. You're not done with us. We've got a lot more in store for you, John.
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready.
So this has been great. we're going to be doing a lot more of this on the show here, but you guys are truly, and I knew it from the first moment I met you, John, like,
Absolutely.
oh crap, that Jared and I, after
It
we
was.
walked out of there, went, John's coming on to all
That
three
guy-
of them.
I love that.
We did.
That's awesome.
Said that John guy.
That's the best feedback I could ever get. That means I'm showing up exactly the way I intend to be.
Yes.
I'm being authentic and real and raw.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And all you Blue Collar Connect guys, don't forget to share this around all of us.
Yeah,
Okay?
Share.
Share it away. We'll catch you on the next one.